Ted, and I'm here in San Diego, and it's 6 p.m. on October 18, and welcome to Global TV Talk Show.com. And our very special guest, once again, I think it's the third or the fourth time, Mireille Toulekima, who's based in Perth, Western Australia. It's 15 hours forward, so it's just around 9 a.m. On October 19 there. Welcome, Mireille.
Thank you. Thank you for having me once again. It is always a pleasure to come and share and have a great conversation with you.
Yeah, thank you. Worldwide. So you are a winner. You're in the top everything in your field in oil and gas engineering as a female, because that's highly, well, not highly unusual, but it's very limited, right? There aren't too many of you. Is that correct?
Definitely. I mean, oil and gas, and if you look at the larger picture, STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, we still don't have a lot of women. I think the percentage of women involved in those sectors is less or just around 10%. So it is still, an area where we still, have to fight, and for the inclusion and for, bringing more diversity as far as gender is concerned.
So you think online education platforms and social projects will help do that?
Yeah, personally, when I started in the industry, like you mentioned, I mean, there were not a lot of people who look like me. So what I face actually is the problem, the challenge that I had was to actually find people who could help me, coaching me and mentoring me to help me navigate, an environment that I was not where I was not represented, people were not represented, people who look like me were not represented, but also understand how I could do well in that sector. So that's why I decided, at some point in my career, obviously I've been, I'm kind of a veteran now, 25 years. 10 years ago, I just, had a shift and ask myself how I could contribute to grow those numbers, of minority or, more women in the industry and in STEM in particularly. And so that's, I thought about not only, sharing my story, which is one thing, but also creating platforms that will help people, women or minority, to understand that, if I could do it, they can do it, and also provide, the technical knowledge and the leadership knowledge, because I think it's more the leadership that was important, that is important right now, so that people can actually, be able to be at the decision-making table. Because what I've seen so far, through my career is that, when I started, there was not a lot, of women and women of color and, minority. Now we have more women entering the industry, but we can't keep them because they get stuck at the middle level. And at some point, there's also, the weight of the family, but most importantly, they get stuck and really frustrated. So they leave the industry and go and do something else. And that's not what we want. We really want to break, this wall and this ceiling, so that they can go, up. And that's what I'm trying to do while providing those, being involved in social project, education, because it is, you want to start to, especially with my social project, I target the young generation. So from very early age to, the graduates.
Yes, right.
So it is,
Yes, I get it. So let me ask you some questions about the G100. What does that stand for?
So the G100 is a non-profit organization that was created by a lady called Dr. Arbin Arari. She's in India, and she's a very prominent woman in India in women empowerment, in the women empowerment space. She started a project a long time ago called the Women Empowerment Forum, and which is now represented all over the world. So she managed to build, a community of women close to, I think, 100,000 plus, and keep growing. And about 2 years ago, she basically looked at the report of, the gender equality and the gender, the gender gap that exists, for women. And it was mentioned that it's going to take more than 100 years before we can close the gap at any level. So she decided to start the, building on the community that she has. She decided to start this G100, where she wants, women to take the lead in different sectors to push, the agenda and have a voice at the global level, because what she's trying to do is bring the G100 to the level of the G20, the United Nations, and at this level where the woman can actually talk and be at the table and be part of the decision-making process. So it's an empowerment tool.
I understand you're the chair of the engineering.
Yes, so there is, so just to YG100, there is, she created what we call wings. So that's 100 wings to match the G100. And as part of the one wing, I'm the global chair for the engineering and energy wing. And at my level, I'm building a team of 100 women in different countries who are going to support me in that effort to make sure that women are empowered in the engineering sector and in the energy sector, and bring solutions and make sure that we push this agenda, the global agenda of the G100, to close the gap, as far as women is concerned.
Well, I remember when you were on our program in March about International Women's Month, you were able to be introduced to some of these other ladies who were on the program, particularly from Saudi or Egypt, India. And so I assume you've kept in touch with some of those.
Yeah, I think the lady that you had from Saudi Arabia was already part of the G100, my team. So
Dr.
she's been
Radwan,
Dr. Mireille, she's she's based in Saudi. She's Egyptian actually, and she's been working in Saudi. So she's helping me to build the network, the G100 network in the energy and engineering sector in that part of the world.
Yeah, she's very highly placed there, highly regarded. Okay, so let's talk about the STEM queens in Uganda.
So the STEM Queen in Uganda is a project that I started with a young Ugandan woman, and we started this project in 2018. And the objective is to empower at least 1 million girls and women in STEM. So STEM, like I said, standing for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this empowerment is taking different shape, especially in Uganda. So in Uganda, we're focusing on what I call led teens to early adulthood, to push, to really bring the, the knowledge about STEM, the opportunity that exists, And we are also identifying talents that we match with, international, international university of institution, so that they can pursue a career in STEM, in those industry that we call STEM. And the idea is not just to focus on that particular part. Here, for example, in Australia, we're extending the STEM Queens to reach out to our indigenous, indigenous population, the young women, indigenous women, to really make sure that they participate in STEM. And we particularly focus here on the mining, because there are quite a lot of, indigenous women in mining, but they are at the bottom. So they're not really rising. They're not really being, we don't see them at the top. So it's really bring this leadership more than anything, because the technical part is already there, because, the schools in Australia are already kind of catering for that, but it's more the leadership and how they manage their careers and how they can actually grow into that industry. And we're really planning to extend, our reach so in Africa, and really looking at what's best, what key area as far as women are involved, what key area can be, can be pushed and bring, and bring solutions and connect the dots when it's possible, and bring the corporate, the education sector, and also the government, because the policies as well. But really look at, at the country level, targeting women, girls and women, so that we can increase the numbers globally and have more women involved in those sectors.
I'm very impressed, and I support what you're doing. So I want to also go a little deeper here. I see in the notes that MT Entrepreneurship Ecosystem and MT Energy Technical Academy, and then those are focus social causes of yours.
So, I started MT Energy Resources, which is more the professional side of, of what I do as a corporate, as an entrepreneur. And as an extension of that, so during COVID, we started with MT Energy Academy, the MT Academy, Technology Academy. And the idea is to bring, the knowledge. So it's an education, but that's really just focused on energy. And we're targeting more, Africa, because what we've seen is that all the education in technology is very costly, and the university in Africa are not equipped to actually give, except, maybe countries like Nigeria, or I think I will say also, in West Africa, but all those new, what we call new market in oil and gas, they need, to have capacity and capability building, but they don't have the structures, or it's just too expensive to send, a young graduate to study in Europe or to study in this part of the world. So what we're bringing is bringing the knowledge at reduced cost, but allow them to stay, there and be able to access, this knowledge and participate later on in the market. Because what we see is that through the supply chain, there's almost no, in this country where they actually have all the reserve and the everything, they don't have, the knowledge, and the local are not involved. And the most important thing is the lack of exposure and the lack of knowledge at all level, they have in the sector. So that's what we're trying to do, bringing, affordable education in the energy sector, resource sector, to and make it available to all, basically, because it is an important sector, as we can see from what's happening. So it is important that people get educated, understand what are the opportunities, understand how it works, because we just realized that a lot of people, and sometimes a lot of the experts will come, they actually don't know the impact, through the value chain. And it's important that we bring this education and make it affordable to the common of citizens wherever they are.
And how are you funding this?
So the funding comes from initially from MT Energy Resources, which is the consulting company, the consulting branch. And we always reach out to investors, to whoever want to be part of it. And also we get, when we give the training, we get the little money that is coming from there, but because it's online, it's less, capital intensive, but we're always looking for support. I'm also working a lot with different, different academy, different institution as well, because I bring, some of the consultant, or when I go in some of the country, I try to partner for the particular project with, a local entity or, a company that is operating there. So it is a lot of innovation and creation based on, where we are. But we always we always call for, fundings and involvement of investors to push this agenda. We're still very young. Like I said, it's 1 year plus, project that was started in the midst of, COVID, where we realized the impact and the power of the online, online capacity, and we're still growing. So at this stage, the funding is still, at a very early stage, but we will push to get it, to get it recognized, globally, and especially in those areas where we want to bring the knowledge.
Good, thank you. Now, I understand that you have formed a global university, and is this along the same line?
So the Global University, because in 2018, so I started an organization called, under my name, so the Miraculikima Global Leadership Organization. And this organization was actually the pillar for everything, that is the pillar of everything that I do, on the leadership space, which is, when I speak globally, or when, I coach, because I have we have a particular signature program that we design just, for coaching any individual, and make sure that, because it's all about making sure that we get people to perform at their best, and really, giving them the tools, the processes, and the education that can make them successful. So the university gives them those. So there's the coaching part, but there's also the different courses, how to lead a team, how to, start a business, how to become an entrepreneur, how to be influential, how to, to brand, yourself, and all the things that are, linked to leadership and management. And what we see, as a target audience is mostly, people who are starting, an entrepreneurship journey, or people who want to, to grow and expand, who have already started but want to grow and expand, and also the people who are in the philanthropic space, where, they need the guidance as well, and the leadership, and understand, how to, to manage people, and how to connect with the right, how to, have an impact in a different setting and environment, and understand also the diversity of culture and the diversity of everything that is happening. So that's what we do at the university. It's online, and we started it. It's not been a consistent effort, but we're really starting to put more. We've started to put more structure again during the pandemic, so we were quite busy doing, the preparation work and giving it some shape. And I think now that everything is, open, and we do a lot of online, but in person as well. We have retreats that we do. We're planning to do once a year. We also have, some particular events, that we are planning a bit everywhere. So we're going to have events in, Southeast Asia, in Malaysia, where, I've lived there. So that's, I know a little bit what is the need. And then again, in Africa to bring this knowledge as well. So lots of things, and busy part of, after pandemic, era.
Yeah. So let me ask you about the oil and gas business, the energy to generate more energy because of the cutoff of Russian fuel. You're involved in that, right?
Not directly, but obviously being in the industry, we we have to be involved. There's a lot of things going on, and it's quite an interesting, an interesting period, because what we've seen is that people have been pushing for to basically drop everything, oil and gas, and just go for renewable, but not understanding that, the reliability of renewable cannot yet, serve the demand. And that's what we've been, because I've worked mostly on traditional oil and gas. So,
right.
So we've been challenged the last few years. Nobody wanted to actually invest on projects, because they were really just focused on renewable energy. And now it's actually coming to bite us, because with what's happening, we've not invested to have more reserve on the table, and now we are stuck, because those things takes time. The exploration takes time, and unfortunately, it's going to be very hard on a lot of people around the world, because we should have looked at more as everything be balanced, yes, going for the clean energy, but still continue to invest for at least to maintain while we're growing the reliability in renewable energy. Yeah,
I agree totally. So you wrote a book called Stepping into Your Greatness, 12 Rules for Building an Outstanding Life. Yeah, how long ago did you do that?
So the book was actually published in 2016, and that's what started the whole process with the Miraculikima Global Leadership Organization. And that's so our signature coaching is based on this book. So it's a book where I've actually, it's a very, a concise book where I really share, what I did to be, where I am, and how, what are the tools, what are the processes, what is the mindset that I've had, and then I put it in what I call 12 rules that are, because it's more accessible when you just put bullet when people really connect, more than you, explaining, writing really long sentences. So it's a very concise, it's a very concise book with 12 rules that I explain how they have, impacted my life, especially my professional life, and how, people can actually connect with those rules and also be able to, succeed in what they want to do. And that's what this book is all about. And it actually was, I'm quite emotional about this book, because it opened a lot of doors for me to the world. It opened me to the world, basically, and really help me to share my story globally, internationally, and be really recognized as, as a leader. So
Well, I want to say a couple of things. First of all, your website here is energyresources.com. And I'd like to help bring the world to you. So it gets a little easier for you. And I welcome you to come back on Global TV Talk Show again, say in about a month or so, and give us an update, a quick update, and just stay in touch with our audience, and perhaps we can help you build more awareness. We never know.
Fantastic. It's always a pleasure to come back and share, because that's, that's really what's important as we grow, especially on the our social involvement in the energy sector, and in STEM in particularly, needs visibility, so that we can help people, and people can help us, basically.
Yeah. So I'll invite you to
grow that.
join some other talk shows that I do and introduce you to some other people as well. Happy to do that, of course. That's what I do. I'm a link maker, bringing people together. So I want to say that I love your hair. I think
Oh, thank you.
So is that hard to do with all that?
It takes a few hours, not too bad, not too bad. It takes a few hours. This one took about, I would say, 6 hours. So
oh my God.
that's not too bad. Some people stay for a day, but this one is fine. I can still. But the good thing is, for several months you don't have to worry about your hair. So that's you sit for 6 hours, but it makes you gain time, as you go ahead, because it's six months.
So look, I don't mean to be personal when I do that, but I am. So do you sleep on it, or do you wrap it up, or do something with it?
So what I do, and I'm going to explain, I'm throwing all my secrets here. I wrap it up at night.
Global TV.
On Global TV, yes, I wrap it up at night, so that they stay fresh, and that's what I do every night. So if you interview me at night, I'm gonna look different, and I'll miss my.
Believe me, I'll look different too.
Yeah.
Not so shiny.
Exactly. And every week, you have to wash it, because otherwise, if you keep it for 6 months, you don't want it to stink at some point, so you have to wash it. So every week. So that's good. Yeah. So these are my secret on Global TV now.
So Mireille Toulekima, thank you very much. Once again, it's energyresources.com.
Fantastic.
And I love having you on the program, and we'll stay in touch soon.
Not a problem. Thank you, Ed, and good luck. Always a pleasure to be on this wonderful platform. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. I'm honored to have you. Take care. Okay, this is Ed in San Diego, and it's signing off. It's getting dark. And that was Mireille. And in Perth, Western Australia, where it's just about 9:30 a.m. there. And she's just starting her day. And so thank you very much, and good night.